Alright, this has been a long time coming. Well, for starters, I want to apologize for taking so long for this one because, well, I tried to figure out presentation ideas for this video, and in the end, none of them worked out, so I'm just going to do something simple like I should have, and just read straight from the chat logs for the live stream. And to make things simple on anybody who wants to look through these chat logs without, having to go onto my channel, dig through hours worth of the live stream and figure it all out, I have a Google document that I saved that I'll be linking in the description below for everybody to peruse. Before we get started, to reiterate, the live stream was just something that I did where I wanted to have everybody have a chance to come in, chat, talk, most importantly, share things that they felt needed to get a spotlight on them, share their own thoughts and ideas on whatever was in the video at the time, or even if the video wasn't playing. Everybody's got stuff to do during the day, after all. And most importantly, I wanted creators to be able to come in and share what they were working on, insight, promote themselves effectively. There were two people I reached out to that were unable to attend the live stream, mostly out of confusion of what they were going to be doing during it. And in general, I don't blame them. There really wasn't any plan with it. So I just want to give a quick thank you to Malicious Bunny and The Revenant for getting back to me on Twitter and speaking to me through messages to, express their curiosity at it, at least. So I want to give a thank you to Malicious Bunny and The Revenant for responding to my messages on Twitter and showing interest in this. And even though they didn't come onto the live stream to promote themselves and all that, I'll still promote them here out of respect for them. Obviously, Malicious Bunny did the Blue Balls Incident and Trolls Files mods for Friday Night Funkin', and The Revenant is one member of the team for the Sonic Execution fan comic, which I highly recommend both of those creators and their projects because they are still active and working on stuff in the background. And effectively, the live stream was pretty much me also trying to have a practice run on interacting with people and giving thoughts in a live environment, even when nobody was there, so generally a practice run on when people actually are going to be there. So a lot of times in the chat logs there's going to be nobody watching, but I am still talking and making notes about stuff, corrections, updates, just new thoughts that have formed over time for the topics that we're playing. So after that, let's get into the actual visitors to the live stream, and a thank you to everyone that took part in it. So first up is Milligan Nonsense, who had a couple questions and wanted to give a plug. He wanted to know what my thoughts are on furries. Generally don't care. Live your life how you want, as long as you're not being disrespectful, annoying, getting in the way of other people's lives with how you do things. Just be yourself and do what you want, And if I would be interested in doing a video on Chris Chan. We're on the high road already, aren't we? So to go over this a little bit more than I did in the live stream chat. If I ever cover anything involving Chris Chan, it will be taken with maturity and respect. And if you don't know anything about Chris Chan, don't go looking it up. For God's sake, don't look it up. It's not worth it. I've known about them for years. I know the community surrounding them. And that's why I will, if I ever discuss the topic, be approaching it in a mature and respectful form, as I do with most other things on the channel. For now, I'll just say that anything involving Chris Chan is a very difficult topic to cover for a lot of reasons, and most of them involve good taste and maturity. So, in the future, not ruling it out, it would be one of those videos I take my time with, but it's also a video that I would need to know I have a lot more subscribers backing me up on doing it. Like I said, it's not worth looking into it yourself, or at least searching the internet for it yourself. Frederick I believe his name is Frederick Knudsen. Knudsen? This guy did 2 videos, one on furries, one on Chris Chan. The one on Chris Chan is very out of date. But Frederick does a good series with Down the Rabbit Hole anyway, so it's worth checking him out for just about anything that he has up on there. Now, Milligan Nonsense also wanted to plug Bruce Grove, working over at Queen Anne's County TV. And while at first it might look like it's a lot of council meetings and local business advertising, the website's live feed also played an interview with prominent voice actors Steve Bloom and Mary McGlynn, in what I'm pretty sure is a gaming store I've been to around there. So yeah, it might be a local station, so to speak, but there's still some surprises there if you give it a chance.
Mm-hmm. So if I can ask a fun question.
Sure.
What are your top 3 voices you've ever done?
Oh.
I think it's that one.
Oh, I've been working on my Jennifer Coolidge hot dog. Y'all here, look at the snow. Who told us to come here in the snow?
Oh my God, I'm gonna need a minute.
Yeah.
Now, this comment actually makes me think of the fact that for creators out there, it is probably a very great idea to go out and see if any local TV stations, cable stations, newspapers, whatever, anything local, see if they want to talk to you and help promote your stuff, because everybody loves a local celebrity. Our next visitor was Nomine, who's effectively the one who made the channel what it is today, because, well, he's the one who shared the videos I made and got them promoted and started off strong-ish. And he was visiting to not just support the stream and all, but I mentioned there was an update to the lore for the Trolls Files, and he wanted to bring up that Malicious Bunny does have a Discord server that people can join for hanging out, supporting her and the team, and also seeing more lore updates that she has. I will add, before I move on from this, I don't know if I said it on there or not, that Malicious Bunny does have a Patreon account. Like I said, she is working on stuff in the background. I'm not going to say anything about what she has on her Patreon. That's for patrons to see. I have kind of a rule for myself to not act on privileged information, you can say. But if you want to support her and development of the Mad and Hopeless mod that she's working on, then Patreon. Now, speaking of the Trolls Files, we have a visit from Rafix Raptor, who is one of the artists on the Disorder fan mod of the Trolls Files. And he regularly posts art and videos on YouTube and Twitter. Make sure to check him out because he has a very unique style that I enjoy seeing. And part of our discussion was about whether the instrumentals of a Friday Night Funkin' song sound better than the song with the 2 singers singing in it. And he also mentions how some songs feel like they need the instrumentals raised up a little bit from the background so that you can hear them a little better. And that's something I generally agree on. I mean, this is something that's true in all music. If you've ever heard the term digital destruction or loud war, something like that. I forget what they all call them. Generally speaking, it's a question of mixing. Making sure the levels of all the instruments work well together, complement each other. This is why I mentioned one of the things about the Trolls Files and other fan projects based off it, is that the Trollses, when they sing, they have a deep voice, almost like it's a bass track, complemented by the higher pitch version of, well, not version, but the higher pitch voice of Boyfriend or whoever else is singing in general. It's a balance and complementing of each other. I did mention in my community post I was filming this late at night, didn't Another thing he wanted to bring up was that I guess somebody might have a voice role for me in a project upcoming. I'm legitimately do not know anything else other than what he stated. And No Mind came back around to join the discussion about the Sonic.exe video to bring up that he's kind of lost interest in Sonic.exe content, but he still has good memories about the lore and fan games, or at least some of it. And this is something I generally agree with him on, that I don't really follow the Sonic.exe stuff, but if nothing else, I do enjoy the concept of the character itself, even if the presentation sucked the first time around. To me, Sonic.exe is another one of those things where, generally speaking, there's no bad idea. It's just how it's presented or formed and made, whatever. A lot of the fan creations out there that I've seen, there's quite a few of them that are actually coming up with some interesting ideas. Somebody with the name Boyfriend wanted to, I guess, have me look into Matt Final Lesson. I checked that. That's a Friday Night Funkin' mod. There's apparently some controversy around it, so I'm not entirely sure how much I'll be talking about it or bringing it up in the future. It's... Off the top of my head, I don't remember what the issue was. I think there was assets being used without permission or something like that. But in the end, right now, it's not exactly something I'm going to be giving too much focus on. Maybe I'll poke at it again in the future to see what's been going on with it, and if there doesn't seem to be any issues with it, maybe I'll cover it. However, don't let me saying all that stop you from looking it up. It sounds like one of those things where if you're following the Friday Night Funkin' community, or well, the mod community, then you might already know something about it. Next up, we had Broken Mirror and James Pavel visiting during the video for the fan projects of the Trolls Files. All the stuff that it inspired other people to do from, well, like I said, Disorder was a fan mod based off of it. There's going to be another update video for the Trolls Files Ex Amori, but I think the most fun I had about that video was finding out there were people already cosplaying the Trollses in that mod. And also somebody made a 3D printed figurine of Smiler. I'm getting a little off track here. First off, in terms of relevance to things going on in the chat, Broken Mirror brought up that I have, for the longest time, completely missed the pun of the song Basophobia. I think I said the L in that one when I shouldn't have. Basophobia, from the first part of the Trolls Files Ex Amori mod. Basophobia is actually the fear of falling, and if I realized that when I was making the video, I could have made a lot of speculation about it, but by the time I made this video, I still hadn't fully played and understood Amori to begin with. But generally speaking, this is one of those comments that made me feel stupid. And just for fun, Gordon Ramsay reference. Now, to bring back up James Pavel, they are the creator of the Dearest Incident AU, which is a fan alternate universe for the Trolls Files. And this whole thing with James Pavel is actually slightly embarrassing for me because their comic I did see on their Twitter. I did see the repost. I saw the follow-up comic that somebody made based off their alternate universe. I just didn't find the actual original comic. And that's because back then I didn't understand how Twitter worked with going through the images and things like that. No Mind, the same one who shared my original Blue Balls Incident videos with Malicious Bunny and helped give me views and subscribers on the channel from that, once again came to my rescue and pointed out where to find the actual comic I was looking for. So, thanks to the live stream chat, James Pavel was able to meet No Mind and thank them for me not completely skipping over what they'd done and created. The discussion as a whole goes on for a little bit, and it was very interesting, so I suggest maybe not so much reading my discussion about it, but checking James Pavel and the other members of the team on Twitter. And part of the goal they're doing with the AU is that they want there to be some sort of karma and comeuppance for the Dearest for everything they did in the main game and elsewhere. You wanna come up, buddy? Just generally speaking, it feels too much like Girlfriend and Boyfriend and everybody else effectively has a bunch of plot armor. That makes things boring and not very interesting. Say hello, Gabriel. And I actually followed up with a comment of my own about how Malicious Bunny and Gerber have also mentioned they have a goal of at least some form of suffering to Boyfriend. That kind of, he's an invincible, fearless fool thing is partly why I tend to shy away from Friday Night Funkin' mods. If nothing else, during this discussion, I think it's clear to see that James Pavel and the rest of the people working with them is just a group of people having fun. They talk about how, I think that's supposed to be a reference to Rue, made a joke comic about how Boyfriend can't cut his hair anymore, and it just sounds so silly and fun they want to make it actually canon to their universe. But generally, the important thing to take away from this section of the conversation is James Pavel, Spud Stories, and Danger Octo are just all having fun, sharing things with each other, coming up with ideas, and more or less doing what creators should do and enjoy creating, no matter how silly and off the wall it might be. Now after that we enter a discussion with Broken Mirror about Children Rekindled. That is going to be the next video coming up. I'm in the middle of working on it. But Broken Mirror is apparently working on a fan game for it. And Broken Mirror has also released a lot of fan art for them as well. This also led to a discussion about the lore behind Five Nights at Freddy's and why I'm a little meh about it. On my side, the more I think about it, the more it just feels like, and I'll get into this a little bit as well with Children Rekindled for slightly different reasons. But in terms of Five Nights at Freddy's official lore, I understand there's a mystery to it. It just felt like there was too much mystery and not enough answers. A lot of the time, at least. I stopped playing and caring about it around the time of the third or fourth game, which, generally speaking, they answered a lot of questions at that point. But then afterward, it felt like Resident Evil games where they just couldn't stop bringing things back in, you know what I mean? You can't show that stuff on camera, I don't think. I guess another way to put it is, it feels like they're giving us a lot of mysteries, but not giving us enough answers, so that they can still have something to build off of in the future when they come back around to something. Again, this is something I'll discuss in a more, well, in a less freewheeling, free thought format in the Children Rekindled video. But in the end, this was a nice, fun discussion I had with Broken Mirror about how these sort of things are approached by creators. During the Amori video, Danger Octo visited and mentioned that they heard I was talking to James in the chat, and confirms that yes, they are fun to talk to. This is also another one of my embarrassing moments because they mentioned they liked the rhyme I made in the Amori video, And by this point in time, a couple desyncs with the stream caused it to lag for a few minutes. So when they brought up the Amori rhyme, I didn't know what they were talking about because it was like 5 minutes behind what I was seeing. Danger Octo wanted to promote their remix of Springless Cycles on their channel. And I'm promoting it again because it sounds pretty good. Also, after they came back, Dr. Octo wanted to discuss Steam filmmaker projects involving Splatoon. They have a couple recommendations, but knowing that I would have to eventually talk about Splatoon lore doing that, I came up with a very juvenile joke, but hey, why not? I remember off the top of my head that there is something about Splatoon lore, but quite frankly I might wind up making the video only to make this juvenile joke. And here we have Spud Stories join the stream during the ICP video, which being 2 hours long, plenty of chances to randomly show up during that one during the stream. Prince Plays was a fun visitor to the chat toward the end here, and I'm glad they were there. Prince Plays, I'm happy to say, openly said they subscribed during the live stream. I very much appreciate that. But they did seem interested with what I was saying for the Sonic Villains part of the video. So hopefully my goal of being able to share this stuff to new eyes out there was successful in that regard. And during the final wind-up of the live stream, Spud's Stories came back. And we had a discussion about what I was talking about in my Why I Care About You video. Which, I know it's 20 minutes long, but I really feel like maybe I should make that the channel trailer or something, I don't know. And really the purpose of that video, as I allude to in the chat for the live stream, is that it wasn't me looking for sympathy and all that, you know, subscribe to me, I broke my knee, that kind of thing. No, that'll always be a reminder of why respect is an important thing to give people in these videos, in real life, everywhere, you know what I mean? And as this is the wind-up, I wanted to make sure to remind people that may be seeing things that Spud Stories does have his own channel and Twitter and such for things that he was creating. But I'm very grateful for him saying there that he still wanted to be able to help show support to my channel. And then this is this is where everything ended in the most hilarious way I can think of. So the very moment that Prince Plays asks if the stream was over in the chat, Comcast decided that since it was late at night, they were going to reset the router or something. I don't know what they were doing. But my internet went down. Right as everything was done. And it would be great timing if it wasn't for the fact that I wanted to spend about, you know, a handful of few more minutes just letting everybody mingle a little bit instead of make it seem like I was going, show's over, everybody out the door, you know. Comcast made that decision for me. So, yeah, I have images here of what I was trying to say versus what actually got through. Yeah, that was a very confusing moment for me. And that was, all I remember was panicking, thinking to myself, oh my god, I look like a jackass. So, yeah, that was a live stream. This is the summary. I hope my late night tired recollections of everything came off as interesting and not boring. Oh, and the live stream, I did... If you go looking for the videos, the other reason I wanted to keep the live stream up and recorded like I did was because a couple errors, a major error in, well, the Art Inspires Art video about the Trolls Files, the section where I was discussing the person that made the 3D printed figurine of Smiler, because of how I was trying to come up with a new way of constructing videos at the time, I accidentally left out the audio track for when I was discussing that. The audio track is put back in for the live stream version that's up there. And also there were numerous problems with citations, attributions, whatever you would say, for sources of images and videos that I used during some of the discussions in the Insane Clown Posse video for the attractions. The correct attributions are in the live stream version of that as well. These are things that I really can't fix without re-uploading the entire video, at least to my knowledge. So, you know, if you want to hear what I said in the one video, if you want to see the proper attributions for the Insane Clown Posse video, that's in the live stream. So I am going to follow his lead and go to bed. So, have a good night, everybody. Hope you enjoy seeing what was in the chat. Please don't ask me why the only time I was able to record this was late at night. Have a good one, everybody. Take care of yourselves.